It is inevitable that it's going to happen at some point. The question is it going to happen in the next few weeks or maybe in the next few months? But inevitably, Bitcoin's going to reach 80,000. I think we can both agree on that, right?
Absolutely. I think we both agree much higher.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest crypto channel in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money and crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Guys, today, I've once again brought on Carl from the Moon channel on YouTube to talk about the charts. What are we seeing with Ethereum? What is a potential price point we could be looking at? And could we still be looking at an Ethereum price of over $25,000 for this bull run? Carl seems to agree. It looks like it's possible. Now, if you want to take advantage of the price of Ethereum booming like so many people in our community have, you can do that by trading on Bybit. You can actually check out bitboycrypto.com/deals, scroll down to the Bybit section, and get started today. And if this video is any indicator of where the price of Ethereum is going, you're definitely going to want to check it out. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the video.
Hey, everybody. After a week off, I'm once again joined by my friend, Carl from the Moon channel on YouTube. Glad to have you here. The markets are going crazy. How are you doing this week?
Hello, I'm doing very well. Yeah, the markets are exploding. Altcoins are exploding. Ethereum is exploding. Bitcoin is doing well. I think this is a great time to be alive in crypto. So I think congratulations to all of us here.
That's it. I mean, that's the ticket. Everybody who's been in crypto, who has made it through the bear market, or if you got in early in this one, you're doing great. And we think there's more to come as well. And guys, if you're watching my channel, and you have not subscribed to Carl's channel yet, make sure you do that. He puts out great content every single day, exactly as he predicts every day. You guys can get that link down below in the comments. So go hit that subscribe button and support Carl. But let's talk about what's going on right now in the markets. What are we seeing? Are we near a top? What is your analysis telling you right now about what we're seeing?
Yeah. So last time we spoke, I was very bullish on Ethereum, and let's just go into the chart and we can take a look at what happened ever since that time. All right. So this is the Ethereum price against the US dollar. And last video that we made together, I was talking about this double bottom pattern here, where we see a neckline up there at $1,900, and these two valleys, or whatever you want to call it. And so 2 weeks ago, I was showing you guys here on BitBoy's channel, we were talking about this, that if we break this level here at $1,900, then we can make a fantastic trade together where we go up and we want to take profits at our target.
And no, we actually have a clip of that if we want to see what we talked about last time to catch people up. So we'll go ahead and show that clip right now.
Exactly. We want to see the target. And we can do this down to the bottom of this point. We'll put this up like this at the point of a breakout, and this gives us a target of approximately $2.6 thousand. Yeah, so in that clip you can see that the target that I was showing was calculated like this. I will pull this up at the point of the breakout that which happened literally just a few hours after that video was posted. And you can see that we're getting extremely close to my target right now. The target was approximately $2,550. And exactly as I predicted, we're getting very, very close now. You can see we're already up 28% approximately against the US dollar, which is absolutely massive, obviously, because if you put in a trade with 10x leverage, then chances are you're up approximately 300% right now on this trade. So big shout outs to everyone who watched this video 2 weeks ago, where we were talking about this. And yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that target right now. That's why I think it's important that we're making this video now to show that with simple technical analysis, we can definitely predict these moves here. And actually, BitBoy, I know that you were right as well. You were calling for $2,500 Ethereum as well.
Just yeah, we've actually we've actually been calling for it for 2 months now. So
Yeah.
it didn't want to pick up the phone. It didn't want to answer. Okay. But now we finally have got the answer. We're very close to 2,500. And I know I'm excited. My people are excited about it for sure, because we're going to have a Valentine's Day party, and I'm going to wear a Cupid costume for $2,500 by Valentine's Day. But Carl, I want to talk. So when we had our last video, we talked about kind of the range, right? 24 to 2,600 is kind of what we were looking at. And right now, as we've gotten very close, I mean, on Bybit, for instance, I think it was only $5 away or less from hitting 2,500. We got a little bit of a rejection off that level. What do you kind of see playing out? Like, we've been talking about on this channel 2,500 for so long. Now that we're basically there, like, what are kind of the next places people should be looking? And I understand we might have a correction.
When we're trading at all-time highs like this, it's very hard to predict the next leg unless you have a clear pattern. For example, we had this horizontal triangle which broke out, and we had this double bottom. And because of these two patterns, I was able to predict this next leg up, because it basically made sense. But right now we have to kind of wait and see. And while I'm talking, we can also talk quickly about the fact that we saw a small inverse head and shoulders here. And these things, if you pick them up real quick in the chart, you can make these quick trades. This is just for educational purposes here. You can see that if you trade this above the neckline, you can see that boom, this broke out, and you could have made a nice trade there. But for the next leg for Ethereum, I would go over to Ethereum against Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And before I zoom out here, we can see that we actually saw a nice little diamond pattern form here, and Ethereum broke out here. And I made a few videos about this on my channel, and we're getting closer to that target.
Yeah.
So the target here is actually 0.04 Bitcoin, but we're very close to this target already. What I want to do is I want to zoom out. I want to zoom out and take a look at what is Ethereum doing against Bitcoin, because even though Ethereum is exploding right now and doing very, very well, we have seen nothing yet, in my opinion, against what we could see in the next few weeks and months here. If Ethereum continues this trend of gaining momentum against Bitcoin. So what we can see here is that we have higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So basically, we're seeing a trend here of Ethereum going higher and higher against Bitcoin. And everyone knows that Bitcoin is going up in value. And if Ethereum is going up in value against Bitcoin, then Ethereum is going to explode, obviously, because that means that it's going to slingshot past Bitcoin. Right. This is very possible. I'm not recommending to put all of your Bitcoin into Ethereum, but I do believe it's reasonable to keep exposure to Ethereum, because these things can explode when they happen, right? One level that is obviously very important right now is the previous high we saw right there at 0.0456 Bitcoin approximately, the previous high. If we break up this level, then I think that we could definitely see another pop to the upside.
And that'd be crazy.
Yeah. And let's play with some numbers. Let's say we were to come up to this level, which is previous big resistance and support here in the Ethereum chart against Bitcoin. Then this could indicate that Ethereum could go up another 37%, 34 or 38% maybe against Bitcoin. So that could put Bitcoin, or Ethereum well above $3,000, closer up to $4,000. And I think that we can definitely go even higher than this. Look at this. I mean, Ethereum was all the way up here at 0.12 Bitcoin. So there you can see that Ethereum could go 3x, maybe 4x against Bitcoin, based on previous historical analysis. However, I would not expect that. That's kind of the extreme.
Yeah.
But let's say somewhere in between. What if we go up?
That's about where I'm looking at. That's funny you're drawing that right there. That's about 8%, 8 to 9% is the range I'm looking for in this bull run for it to get to.
Yeah, I like this level. It's kind of a middle ground. It's not an extreme, and it's not overwhelmingly bearish. It's somewhere in between. And if we were to see Ethereum top out here, then this could take Bitcoin or Ethereum up. Let me see here real quick. So that could let Ethereum double against Bitcoin in the coming maybe 3-4 months or during this bull cycle. And from these levels, this means that Ethereum could easily go up to, let's say $5,000 or something like this, right? But I think that Bitcoin is also going to double or maybe triple or maybe even
Exactly.
quintuple. So this means that something like $10,000 or even $20,000 or higher for Ethereum is very possible. And honestly, if you really crunch the numbers, you can see that something like $30,000-$40,000 for Ethereum is actually possible if we see a Bitcoin completely explode and we see Ethereum keep following Bitcoin here. Now, this is of course not guaranteed. The only thing I'm looking at here is the fact that we have seen a bear market, we have seen a bottoming out, accumulation, and we're now seeing this trend of starting to change towards the upside with high lows, high highs. And in my opinion, usually when I see this is the beginning of a reversal. So this is kind of my target. I think that anywhere from here to down here is very, very reasonable to expect. That's obviously a massive range, but I'm bullish on Ethereum against Bitcoin. That's kind of the summary I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I think if you do the math on this and you say, wow, if it could get to 8.5%, because I mean, we're looking at, 0.085215 BTC, but if you just switch that over to percents, that's 8.5% of the Bitcoin price. If you were to say Bitcoin were to get to $300,000, that I think is totally reasonable. If Ethereum's at 8.5% of that, that's about $26,000 right there. So 25,500. So that's right in our range where we think Bitcoin or Ethereum is going to get to on this channel, which is about $27,000. So, it's a very reassuring to see, the charts kind of, possibly backing that up.
Yeah, I mean, people think that we're crazy saying these numbers. I remember when we made a collaboration, you and me, on my channel, where you were talking about $27,000 Ethereum, and people were saying, "Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy."
I know, man.
But guys, if you go back like 5 years ago and said that Ethereum is going to go to even $1, $10, or $100, people told you were crazy back then. Same with Bitcoin. Saying that Bitcoin is going to go to $60,000 when Bitcoin was $100, you would be called crazy. So in crypto, everyone is crazy until they are completely right.
Exactly. And, they called us moon boys for saying Bitcoin could get to $50,000. And, you see where it is. But I think that the thing is you really have, three main kinds of people watching these videos. I think you've got one type of person who has, they watch the videos, they've been here since 2017 or before, and they've seen everything and they know the capabilities and they know the possibilities. Then you have the other people that are newer and they're just like, I can't possibly imagine this because they weren't there in 2017. But then you've got another group of people that were there in 2017, saw everything bottom. The bear market made them so hopeless that even though they've seen this type of stuff before, they just don't think it's possible again. So, we stuck through the bear market. We made all these videos because we deeply believe in crypto. We believe in Ethereum. We believe in these high prices. We don't just say these prices for shock value. Like, we legitimately believe this is where things are going. And that's why I love having you on the show, Carl, because we got the same mindset. And, I tell a lot of people this. It's not just you and me. Most of the other YouTubers that have been around since 2018 or before, we all pretty much agree with what we think our price targets are, like within, give or take a little bit here or there, because we know what everything's capable of. So,
yeah, I think that maybe before we end this, I can just take a quick look at Bitcoin, because I do believe that obviously we might be bullish on Ethereum, Cardano, whatever, but to really understand where the crypto market is going, we have to first understand where Bitcoin is going. I think that's obvious. I think we all know this. And right now, just quickly, I can show you here that in the Bitcoin chart, we seem to be forming a pretty clear rising wedge here. Yeah. And you can see here, we're bouncing up and down between support and resistance. And everyone who knows technical analysis knows that a rising wedge is technically a bearish pattern. Yeah. But there is something that people should know about Bitcoin and bull markets, and that is the fact that bearish patterns in a Bitcoin bull market tend to break to the upside actually more often than down. Right. That said, I think that we should also pay attention to this daily EMA ribbon that I famously is using, because I think it's a very, very nice indicator of support and resistance in bull and bear trends. And you can see here, we're bouncing off of support here very clearly. And ever since we broke above this ribbon, I've been calling for bullish prices, because as long as we're above here, I remain bullish generally on any coin or token I'm looking at. And the same goes for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. We're still clearly bullish with the fact that we are getting a rising wedge here. Now, I would say this: we remain bullish until the point where we break the support here, because at that point we have to start paying attention. Even though we might still be above the EMA ribbon at that point, I think that breaking the support could result in either a big correction, but at the very least longer consolidation. And the longer we consolidate to the sideways, the bigger the risk of the fact that we're going to start heading down, because that means that the bull trend will be broken, or the parabolic run-up will be broken. So I think this pattern is very, very important to pay attention to. We can also see that the volume is declining as we are moving into this pattern, which means that we didn't see a breakout yet. Even though we saw a nice pump to the upside today here, or yesterday, this was not the breakout, because the volume was not really there. So if we do see a clean, nice break above $65,000 like this, and the volume goes up something like this, well above the previous volume sticks here, this could indicate the next major move for Bitcoin. And in that case, I would say that the conservative, very conservative view would be that we could see something like this, where Bitcoin could actually go up to 80,000, above 80,000 in the next maybe 1 or 2 weeks here.
Oh, wow.
But for this, we need to see clean break above resistance here, which has not happened just yet.
Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to get some nice green candles today, and we'll get there, right? I mean, let's pray for the green. Pray for the green.
It is inevitable that it's going to happen at some point. The question is it going to happen in the next few weeks or maybe in the next few months? But inevitably, Bitcoin is going to reach 80,000. I think we can both agree on that, right?
Absolutely. I think we both agree much higher, but in the kind of short term, next couple of months, I mean, if we're going to get to the numbers that we want to get to, then we got to see a big breakout at some point. We can't just gradually step our way up $10,000 at a time all the way to $400,000. All right, guys. Well, Carl, as always, like I said earlier, thank you so much for joining us. Always great to talk about Bitcoin, especially people got to understand how much control it has over the market. If Bitcoin's not doing well, nothing's going to do well. The sideways consolidation scenario you talked about is particularly appealing if you are into altcoins. But, obviously we do need to see Bitcoin get to higher levels. So we'll just have to see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks. Guys, down below in the comments, make sure to let us know what you want us to talk about next week. What do you want to see in these chart videos with Carl? Make sure to let us know. That's all I got. Carl, we'll see you. Be blessed. Way out.